What do you get when you cross one of the most established beer-based YouTubers of all time and one of the most recognisable UK craft brewers of all time? Well, apparently, you get a Festbier. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today I'm taking a look at this. It's from Brew York and it is a collab with Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer. If you found my channel, then, well, I'm pretty sure you've definitely found his before somewhere. So this is a 5.8% Festbier. It was released a couple of years ago now for Oktoberfest and kind of a British alternative to the German Festbiers, and for whatever reason I just haven't had the chance to try it, truthfully. But when I was scrolling through my latest beer order, it came up and I thought, yeah, why not? I have reviewed another collab that Simon has done with Lord's Brewing Co. that was also called something very similar. This is Stoned Crow Festbier. That was Extra Stoned Crow ESB, I think it was, extra special bitter. And yeah, I mean, they're very different styles for sure. It will be very interesting to see how this one pans out. Brew York, I always feel like hold a lot of promise, don't always deliver though. And let's be honest, if there's a type of beer I'm going to be quite picky about, it's probably going to be a German style and something especially like a Festbier. So definitely going to be interesting, but we'll give it a go. The can is very typically Brew York, as you can see there. There he is. There is the man. There's Simon, decked out in his 316 waistcoat. I'm not sure where the wrestling theme comes from on this, if I'm totally honest with you, but it is what it is. Looks nice enough, very Oktoberfesty, Simon-y and wrestling-y, which interesting mixture, but let's get into it. I will be giving this one the proper Oktoberfest treatment with a proper German glass, not Stein. It's not what it's called. Stein has to be a litre. Tankard, glass tankard. This is a half litre. So it's a mess. It's a mess. That's been sat still in my fridge for about 3-4 weeks. I haven't shaken it up. It's just gone everywhere. Oh dear. That's not right. Okay, I've tidied the place up. This is now very wet. I had to wash it completely. And yeah, I mean, not a good start. Let's be entirely honest. But it could redeem itself. The beer, it's got a nice dark kind of Mars and hue to it. It does look good. I mean, as a result of the pour, that head is atrocious, but kind of is what it is. In the glass, yeah, as I say, it's got a nice proper dark, almost dunkel hue to it. Not quite that dark, but get in there. The head, it has got a nice foamy head to it, but it looks like a bit of an accident in a bakery, if I'm honest. But you get the idea, kind of stiff peaks scenario. It looks alright, so aromas. Okay, it does actually smell nice, big, bready, like a proper German Festbier thing. Like, it's big, rich, sweet, bit of spice in there. Trying to smooth that head out because it really is just a bit ridiculous. Yeah, big, rich, sweet, bready, caramel, spicy. That's it. Like, that's all you really need to know, if I'm honest. Right, let's give it a go, see if it can redeem itself. Cheers. My first reaction is very, very good, and then it kind of diminishes to it's okay. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's not a bad beer at all. Like, it's very enjoyable, drinkable. Saw it on tap somewhere, no hesitation. Immediately after one sip, I would order it again. But it goes through the notions of a proper German lager, kind of Festbier, come Marzen, come kind of lightweight Dunkel, whatever you want to call it. It's all there and proud, and then all of a sudden, towards the back end, I get this big, bitter, I guess just unexpected sharpness that, yeah, I wouldn't really expect from the style. But anyway, we'll try and give it its dues. Proper top to bottom taste test. So initially, right on the tip of the tongue, Sweet, candied, very low carbonation, but that's because, well, the carbonation was went everywhere else in this room. As I say, sweet, candied, a little bit of a grassy, lemony hop note in there. Nice enough, to be honest, very nice actually, very nice indeed. First third of the tongue, big, rich, doughy, proper German malt bread base to it. Really good. There's something else in there as well. There is a bit of sourness. There's a tiny bit of sourness starting to creep in at that point. Like, it's not bad, but maybe just a bit unexpected. Then, over the kind of mid-palate, this is the point in most German lagers and fest beers and almost all German beer, really, where I'm expecting the true essence of the quality of the material to show through, especially the mineral note from the water. Not here. It's just not there. It's not bad, there's no off flavours, but it just kind of drops down a bit to the point where I'm like, oh, slightly, you know, just a little bit disappointing, something a little bit missing perhaps. But again, there's no off notes, it's just something I was expecting hasn't arrived. Then onto the back of the tongue. The malt does come back a bit, but there is this sour, bitter, funky, yeasty note that's like, well, you know, you saw how it exploded. I'm not convinced that there's not something actually wrong with this beer. Like, it's not a big flavour, it's not intense, it's not one sipping, that's gone. It's not off, and for reference on terms of the best before on the can, finally found it, the 10th of June this year, and the date currently is the 28th of February, so it's got a decent amount of time left. It's certainly not the freshest beer, but it's far from out of date. It's, yeah, there's a twang, is what I'm getting at. There's a bit of a twang. Then on the aftertaste, malt does properly come back in. It's nice. It's not got that addition of that off note. A bit of the kind of lemon, grassy, floral, kind of meadowy hops in there. It's good. It's nice. It's solid. I can't really comment on the body of it because this is flat, washy, but well, of course it is because most of it went all over my table here. So that's a bit disappointing. Flavour-wise, it's spot on. Execution though, and that, let's be honest, is down to Brew York. Yeah, very, very questionable. Right then, let's take a quick look at the can. So, as I said, on the front it says Stone Crow Festbier 5.8%. It's a good ABV for a Festbier. The description on it says, what? Stone the Crows, we've only gone and done a collab with the YouTube beer legend Simon Martin of the Real Ale Craft Beer channel. Together, we have produced a Festbier ready for Oktoberfest. Which makes perfect sense and would explain why this was made when it was made, if it was indeed for last year. Maybe it was, maybe I'm a year out, maybe this was only available last year. The hops in it are Munich, Pilsner, Carapils, Cara Aromatic, and then it goes on to say flaked wheat, crystal 150, and acidulated malt. I think they've got their labelling wrong there because most of those are indeed malts, not hops. It's fine, it's got their normal little thing on it where it gives you like a diagram of how they see it. This one, according to them, has almost no flavour whatsoever, which is interesting. But to be honest, it's good. It's good, but I'm struggling to see past the flaws of the explosion, if I'm totally honest, and it has affected the impression of the beer and the actual quality in terms of the mouthfeel and everything else. So it's fine. Have you had this? Did you have the same issue? By the way, I got this from Beers of Europe, so if you're thinking about buying one, maybe don't buy it from there. But maybe they're all like it, I don't know. So question for Brew York, Simon, Beers of Europe, anyone else, because yeah, something went a bit awry there. That has been sat in a cold fridge for weeks untouched. So yeah, something definitely a bit wrong there. But otherwise, it's decent. But I have to say, the Lord's extra Stone Crow ESB, whatever it was called, was better. Like, it was a much more solid beer. It might not have been as interesting as a Festbier, because ultimately Fest beers are very exciting, but yeah, just as an execution point of view, they stormed it. So, bit of a shame, but I will finish it. It's not terrible, but yeah, just a few question marks really hanging around. And that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.